Churchill, and Chiang Kai-shek call on the Japanese government to accept without further delay the unconditional surrender of its armed forces, thus demonstrating its he knows through his spy in Los Alamos that the atomic bomb is ready. He speeds up the deployment of his troops in the Far East in an attempt to be the first to occupy Japan. Keeping them in the deepest secret is also. However, if we are to believe the legend, the dropping of the two atomic bombs helped save the lives of millions of American soldiers and civilians, putting an end to the war. In reality, Hiroshima had to be destroyed to demonstrate to the entire world the power of the American arsenal. The American military airport on Tinian. The training of the crews responsible for dropping the bomb began a month and a half ago. Little boy, the bomb destined for Hiroshima, weighs more than 4 tons. It is a uranium bomb. It left Los Alamos. A B-29 bomber prepares to receive the bomb. It is named Enola Gay in honor of the pilot's mother. August 6, 1945. For greater accuracy, the bomb must be dropped by visual contact, not by radar. 3 reconnaissance planes took off to the archipelago to study the weather conditions of the 3 potential targets. In Kokura the sky is cloudy. Nagata is too far away given the weight of the bomb. In Hiroshima the sky is clear. This city will therefore be the designated target. Little boy is dropped at an altitude of over 9,000 meters. It explodes about 40 seconds later, 600 meters above Hiroshima. The fireball released by the nuclear explosion reaches a temperature of 1 million degrees centigrade. It travels at a speed greater than that of sound, burning all the oxygen in its path. It is as if a sun were being made on the surface of the earth. August 6th. Suddenly, a flash of lightning appears, and then another. Shadows, reflections, everything has disappeared. Then there is nothing but a cloud of dust in the middle of which I see a wooden column, which is the one that supports my house. Hiroshima, 8:15 in the morning. Dr. Hachiyu is getting ready to go to the hospital. He wrote these sentences in his diary on the very day of the explosion. Instinctively I start running, or at least I try. In vain, the ground is strewn with beans. I feel extraordinarily weak. I have to stop to regain my strength, and then I realize that I am completely naked. What has happened to my pants and shirt? I look at the right side of my body. It is covered in blood. I also have a wound on my thigh. I feel heat spilling into my mouth. My cheek is torn. The blast of the explosion was of unprecedented power. In an instant, a single uranium bomb has wiped out a city of 350,000 inhabitants. 4 square kilometers have been reduced to ashes. The houses have burned. The iron has twisted from the heat. Everything is happening like a nightmare. I see shadows parading, a kind of ghosts walking with their arms spread apart. I don't know why. Suddenly I realize that they are burned and that they are walking with their arms spread apart to avoid contact with their own skin. The explosion has killed some 70,000 people. Another 70,000 will die in the following months from the effects of radiation. 200,000 inhabitants survive. They are the Ibukusha, those irradiated by the atomic bomb. American plane has just dropped a bomb on the city of Hiroshima, destroying its usefulness to the enemy. The power of this bomb is greater than that of 20,000 tons of TNT. It is an atomic bomb. It is the domination of elemental power across the borders of Manchuria, occupied by Japan since 1931. The Japanese troops do not defend themselves. Lacking ammunition, they surrender to the Soviets. At the Tinian base, the second bomb is finally ready. The concept of Fat Man is very different from that of Little Boy. It is a plutonium bomb like the gadget of Operation Trinity. It is less expensive than Little Boy. It is more effective and its mass production is easier. It must be tested at all costs. All that is missing is the dedication from General Grove. The transmission of the United States to his right-hand man, Colonel Farrell, a hero though, with all my love. August 9th, after 11 in the morning, aboard AB-29, a cameraman films the atomic methane cloud over Nagasaki. The plane also carries a group of scientists who have come to observe the explosion. On their way back to base, the crew will christen the bomb as a necessary evil. In history, the nuclear bomb has become a necessary evil. In Nagasaki, 800,000 inhabitants died instantly or in the following month. We boarded the government of the Empire. England, China, and the Soviet Union that we accept their joint declaration. On August 15, 1945, the Japanese people hear the voice of their emperor for the first time. He informs them of their country's capitulation. The imperial palace has not only surrendered to the bomb. In its view, Tokyo faces an even greater danger. The Red Army is advancing towards the north of the archipelago. In order to prevent Japan from falling under Soviet influence, Washington gives hope of survival to the imperial regime. The text of the capitulation says nothing about Hirohito's fate. The text is signed on September 2nd aboard the battleship Missouri. General MacArthur's occupation troops land in Japan less than a month after the nuclear bombing. But the first foreigners to arrive in Hiroshima and Nagasaki are journalists. Australian Peter Barchet is horrified by the symptoms displayed by the survivors. In Hiroshima, 30 days after the first atomic explosion that completely destroyed a city and shocked the entire world, the inhabitants who are not directly affected by the explosion suffer excruciating pain and continue to die for reasons still unknown and can only be described as an atomic program. The army rushes to conflict. Groves right-hand man in Japan, Colonel Farrell, summons the journalists and orders a categorical denial to be published. In Hiroshima, those who were supposed to die have already died. By early September, no one is suffering the effects of radioactivity. Farrell visits the Hiroshima hospital. The medical staff peppers him with questions. In mid-September, he advises his boss, Rose, to extend the deconfliction operation. Yesterday in Hiroshima, we met with the Japanese doctors. Professor Suzuki asked us whether the explosion had released some kind of toxic gas. To put an end to this kind of speculation, We have formally replied that no toxic gases have been used. We are making this information public, and it would be advisable for you to do the same with the Allies. The propaganda machine is in full swing. Everyone must be reassured while American troops are being deployed in the country. In the United States, the propaganda operation is also beginning to bear fruit. The leaders of the Manhattan Project managed to sell the technological prowess of Los Alamos to the press. On September 11, 1945, the military officer Groves and the scientist Robert Oppenheimer organized a trip for the press to Ground Zero in New Mexico. There should be no effects comparable to those of chemical weapons, no poisoning of the earth by radioactive elements, nor the other atrocities that usually accompany large explosions. The message is transmitted to public opinion. The nuclear bomb is a hidden bomb. It has nothing to do with the chemical weapons prohibited by the Geneva Protocol. In the meantime, more soldiers are arriving in Japan to film and analyze the effects of the new weapon. A soldier proudly shows the point of impact of the bomb in the middle of some still radioactive ruins. This is the epicenter, Ground Zero. Others show the cameras the traces of the nuclear blast. They carefully study the propagation of the incandescent rays and the marks they have left on the building.
In front of the press, the occupation forces vehemently deny the persistence of radioactivity, and meanwhile, American observers continue to measure meticulously. An American soldier recalls his astonishment during the first mission in Nagasaki. He did not know what the result was. There was not a soul. All traces of life had perished. There were no birds, no animals, no crickets, nothing at all. It is difficult to describe such outdoor silence. In a year, there were 9,000 Americans, and the Japanese were behind. The censorship of the occupation proved to be extremely effective. The terms atomic bomb and radioactivity were used in the international newspapers, the atom, the applications around the scene of the
Oh my god. Oh my god. Fuck.
Tens of thousands of books, newspapers, and posters.
I didn't know it wanted over there.
In the face of American officers who protested against flexible.
Oh, fucked up.
At the level of the press, there remains a more delicate operation to be carried out. Disinformation about the effects of the bomb.
Where's I at?
In November 1945, the American opened a commission of inquiry into the development of the atomic control nuclear. Groups with the composition of which education before the
Is to continue the war, despite their determination to fight to the end. If they had contained them, they would have taken tens of thousands of Americans with them.
Slopes plays with the figures. The bomb saved a few tens of thousands or a million American lives. It makes no difference. The important thing is to defend the doctrine of necessary evil really before the cosmic terror. Likewise, on the sensitive issue of residual radiation, Rhodes sticks to a line that is not very scrupulous about nuances. There is no residual radiation, a very resounding no. Except at the moment of the explosion itself, which only lasted an instant, there was no radioactive damage. An antidote for radiation. Roth replies as follows. There are several types of radioactive damage. If the radiation is strong enough, death is instantaneous.
Got one. There's it. Large now. Large mouth, guys.
I'm gonna let you off.
Alright, let's go.
Whoa.
I don't know, bro. Let's go see what's going on. I don't know what it is. Pacific. What is that one in the water there? Shut up. Fuck, I have bounties all over this fucking place. Where the hell did my kill go? Fuck, I can't get it. Fuck. It went under the thing. Fuck! Bro.
Yep. Yeah, it won't take long, girl.
Let me see.